The arrogant assessment. The Grand Chamber of Universal Trade. Massive crystalline chamber stretched across 3 kilometers of polished floor, its walls reaching heights that disappeared into artificial clouds. Representatives from 47 different species filled the space, their varied forms creating a tapestry of galactic civilization. At the center of this magnificent assembly stood Commander Thex, his metallic skin gleaming under the chamber's energy lights. Commander Thex belonged to the Krell Empire, a species that had dominated military strategy for over 2,000 years. His 6 arms moved with practiced precision as he manipulated the holographic displays that floated around him. His compound eyes, each the size of a human fist, focused on the small blue planet rotating slowly in the projection field. Honored members of the Galactic Trade Assembly, Thex began, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had personally conquered 23 star systems. I present the final intelligence report on the Sol 3 system, commonly referred to as Earth by its inhabitants. High Counselor Vex shifted on her floating throne, her serpentine body coiling with interest. As the leader of the assembly, she had overseen the peaceful integration of hundreds of worlds into their trading empire. Her species, the Naga, had perfected the art of economic conquest long before they had achieved spaceflight. "Commander Thex," she hissed, her forked tongue tasting the air with amusement, "your preliminary reports suggested this world would provide minimal resistance. Are you still confident in this assessment?" Thex's mandibles clicked together in what his species considered a confident smile. "Absolutely certain, High Counselor. After 18 months of detailed observation, I can state without reservation that the humans of Earth pose no threat to our expansion plans." The holographic display shifted, showing various scenes of human civilization. Cities bustling with traffic, factories producing goods, and military installations that looked impressive only to those who had never seen true galactic technology. "Observe their technological limitations," Vex continued, gesturing to images of human spacecraft. "These beings still rely on chemical propulsion to leave their planet's atmosphere. Their most advanced vessels require months to reach their own moon. They have achieved no faster-than-light travel, no energy-based weapons, and no planetary defense systems capable of engaging targets beyond their immediate orbital space." Counselor Zeth, a being composed entirely of crystalline structures that resonated with harmonic frequencies, chimed his skepticism. "Commander, your confidence seems almost excessive. Surely any species capable of space travel deserves some measure of caution?" "With respect, Counselor Zeth," X replied, "I have personally observed their military capabilities. Their weapons consist primarily of metal projectiles propelled by chemical explosives. They fight wars using vehicles that move across the ground on wheels and tracks. Their most advanced aircraft cannot even leave their planet's atmosphere while carrying meaningful weapons loads." The display changed again, showing intercepted human communications, news broadcasts, military transmissions, and internet traffic streamed across the projection in dozens of human languages. "More significant than their technological primitiveness," X explained, "is their complete political fragmentation. Earth maintains 195 separate governmental entities, many of which are actively hostile to one another. They cannot agree on basic economic policies, territorial boundaries, or resource distribution. A species this divided cannot possibly mount coordinated resistance against external threats. Meanwhile, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, 3 kilometers below the surface of Earth, in a facility that officially did not exist, Director Sarah Chun stood before a wall of monitors displaying information that would have terrified the aliens currently discussing Earth's fate. The room hummed with the quiet efficiency of technology that had been developed in absolute secrecy for the past 12 years. Sarah Chun had been chosen to lead Project Starwatch, not because she was the most brilliant scientist on Earth, but because she possessed the rare combination of genius-level intellect and absolute discretion that such a position required. Her small frame and quiet demeanor had fooled many people over the years, causing them to underestimate the woman who had revolutionized humanity's understanding of sea-based combat. Director Chun called Dr. Elena Vasquez from her station. Across the room, we're receiving new intelligence from the monitoring satellites. The alien fleet has increased to 500 vessels and is maintaining formation, approximately 2.3 light years from our position. Elena Vasquez had been studying alien technology and biology since the first intercepted transmissions had revealed the existence of galactic civilization. Her work had provided humanity with insights that would prove crucial in the coming conflict. She understood alien psychology better than most aliens understood themselves. Composition analysis? Sarah asked, her voice carrying the calm of someone who had prepared for this moment for over a decade. Standard galactic trade assembly configuration. Elena replied, consulting her displays. Heavy cruisers designed for intimidation rather than actual combat, support vessels optimized for cargo transport and planetary occupation, and command ships built to coordinate surrender negotiations rather than sustained warfare. Captain Marcus. Rodriguez entered the command center, his presence immediately commanding attention from everyone in the room. Rodriguez had spent 15 years developing Earth's secret space defense capabilities, transforming humanity from a single-planet species into a force capable of defending their solar system against threats their enemies could not imagine. Director. Rodriguez reported, all defensive installations are fully operational and maintaining concealment protocols. The enemy has no indication of our true capabilities. Sarah nodded, studying the tactical displays that showed the real state of human space infrastructure. What appeared to be simple mining operations on asteroids were actually weapon platforms capable of engaging targets across interplanetary distances. Communication satellites that seemed designed for civilian use contained military-grade sensors and targeting systems. Even the International Space Station, visible to any observer, concealed capabilities that would revolutionize the enemy's understanding of human technology. How long until they reach Earth? Sarah asked. At their current approach vector and speed, approximately 72 hours, Rodriguez replied. They're not even bothering with stealth or tactical approaches. They expect us to surrender the moment we detect their presence. Elena looked up from her analysis station with an expression of grim satisfaction. Director, I've completed the psychological profile of their command structure. Commander Vex, their military leader, has conquered 23 worlds using identical tactics, overwhelming show of force, followed by surrender demands, followed by economic integration. He has never faced actual resistance. Perfect, Sarah replied. Let's show him what happens when you threaten a species that evolved from survivors. Back in the Grand Chamber, Commander Vex was concluding his presentation with the supreme confidence of someone who had never been wrong about such assessments. The holographic display now showed detailed invasion plans, with human population centers marked for occupation and Earth's resources cataloged for extraction. The conquest of Earth will require minimal military resources, Vex declared. Standard intimidation protocols should secure their surrender within hours of our arrival. A species this primitive will have no choice but to accept integration into our trading empire. High Counselor Vex's eyes gleamed with the anticipation of profit. Earth's resources, particularly its abundant water and diverse biological systems, would provide enormous value to the galactic economy. The humans themselves could be trained as laborers or servants, depending on their adaptability to galactic civilization. What resistance can we expect? Asked Counselor Brent, a massive creature whose species had joined the assembly after their own world had been peacefully conquered 3 centuries earlier. Asterisk. Minimal to none, Vex replied dismissively. Their military forces are designed entirely for fighting other humans. They have no experience with energy weapons, no understanding of shield technology, and no weapons capable of damaging modern starship hulls. The biggest challenge will be processing their surrender documents efficiently. The assembled representatives began discussing the economic benefits of adding Earth to their empire. Mineral rights, biological specimens, and human labor would generate profits for decades. None of them questioned Dex's assessment because none of them had ever encountered a species that successfully resisted galactic integration. "Very well," High Counselor Vex announced, her voice carrying the authority of absolute power. "The Galactic Trade Assembly authorizes standard conquest protocols for the Sol 3 system. Commander Vex, deploy your fleet and secure human compliance. We expect their formal surrender within one standard galactic week." As the council session ended and representatives began filing out of the chamber, discussing profit margins and resource allocation, none of them noticed the microscopic monitoring device that had been placed in their communication systems 6 months earlier. The device, smaller than a grain of sand and undetectable by any technology the aliens possessed, transmitted every word of their conversation across interstellar space to a listening post that officially monitored deep space radio signals for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. The final preparations on Earth. The transmission reached Sarah Chan's command center within minutes of the Alien Council's adjournment. The woman who had spent 12 years preparing for this moment allowed herself a thin smile as she read the intercepted intelligence. "They're coming," she announced to her team. 500 ships, standard intimidation deployment, expecting surrender within a week. Captain Rodriguez studied the enemy fleet composition with the eye of someone who had spent years developing counters to exactly these types of vessels. "Director, their formation assumes we have no space-based defenses. They're planning to position themselves throughout our solar system for maximum psychological impact." "Perfect," Sarah replied. "They'll be exactly where our simulations predicted." "Elena, how long do you estimate before they realize their mistake?" Dr. Vasquez consulted her. "Analysis of alien psychology and military doctrine. Based on their historical patterns, they'll attempt negotiation first. When we refuse their surrender demands, they'll make a show of force. Only when that fails will they realize they've made a fundamental error in assessment." "How long will that take?" Rodriguez asked. "Approximately 4 hours after first contact," Elena replied. "Long enough for them to commit fully to their intimidation strategy, but not long enough for them to adapt to actual combat conditions." Sarah Chun looked at the displays showing Earth's hidden defenses. Humanity had taken a very different approach to space warfare than their enemies expected. While the aliens had focused on overwhelming technological superiority, humans had concentrated on deception, mobility, and exploiting their enemies' overconfidence. "Signal all stations," she ordered. "Operation Homecoming is now active. Show these aliens why you should never threaten a species that learned to survive by hunting creatures 10 times their size." The message went out to installations throughout the solar system. Carried by communication systems the aliens could neither detect nor intercept. On asteroids, moons, and hidden platforms, human defenders prepared to demonstrate that Earth's apparent primitiveness had been humanity's greatest deception. Commander Vex's fleet began its final approach to the Sol system, their ships gleaming with the confidence of predators approaching helpless prey. In a few days, they would discover that humanity had spent 12 years preparing for this moment, and that Earth's defenses had been designed by a species that understood the true nature of warfare better than any civilization in the galaxy. Stage was set for a battle that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Asterisk. The impossible Victory First Contact Protocol commander, Vex stood on the bridge of his flagship, the massive vessel cutting through space toward Earth, with the casual arrogance of absolute superiority. Behind him, 500 ships of the Galactic Trade Assembly maintained perfect formation, their hulls polished to mirror brightness, their weapons prominently displayed but not activated. This was theater as much as it was conquest, designed to inspire awe and hopelessness in any species that witnessed it. "Maintain standard intimidation formation," Vex commanded, his 6 arms gesturing dismissively at the tactical display, showing Earth growing larger with each passing moment. "Deploy the fleet across their entire solar system. I want these humans to see exactly how outmatched they are before we even begin surrender negotiations." His communications officer, a younger member of the same species, looked up from his station with slight confusion. "Sir, should we attempt to monitor their military communications? Standard protocol suggests understanding their command structure before making contact." Vex's compound eyes focused on the officer with something approaching amusement. "Communications monitoring against a species that broadcasts everything openly on unencrypted channels? Their military communications are as primitive as everything else about them. No, we will proceed with standard first contact protocols. Maximum visibility, overwhelming presence, immediate surrender demands." The alien fleet spread across Earth's solar system like a net designed to catch fleeing prey. Ships positioned themselves near major planets, asteroid belts, and communication satellites. Their formation sent a clear message that had worked on hundreds of worlds. Resistance was futile, surrender was the only option, and cooperation would be rewarded while defiance would be crushed. On Earth, President Jennifer Walsh stood in the emergency session of the United Nations, addressing representatives from every nation on the planet. Behind her, a massive display showed the alien fleet as it spread across their solar system, the 500 ships looking exactly as threatening as they were designed to appear. "My fellow humans," Walsh began, her words being broadcast simultaneously in every language on Earth. "Today we face the greatest challenge in our species' history. For 12 years, we have prepared for this moment in secret, knowing that our survival depended not on appearing strong, but on our enemy's certainty that we were weak." The display behind her shifted, showing what appeared to be routine civilian infrastructure throughout the solar system. Mining operations, research stations, communications satellites, and transportation hubs that looked innocent to any observer who didn't know their true purpose. "These beings have studied us extensively," Walsh continued, "cataloged our apparent weaknesses, and concluded that we pose no threat to their expansion plans. Today, we will demonstrate the fatal flaw in their logic. They have confused our discretion with helplessness, our unity with chaos, and our preparation with primitiveness." The ultimatum Commander Vex activated the communication systems that would broadcast his message to every receiver on Earth. His image appeared on television screens, computer monitors, and communication devices across the planet, his imposing figure designed to inspire immediate submission. "Humans of Earth," Vex began, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had delivered similar messages to dozens of worlds. "I am Commander Vex of the Galactic Trade Assembly. Your world has been selected for integration into our galactic civilization. You have one of your planetary rotations to consider your response." The holographic display behind him showed the overwhelming might of his fleet, each ship large enough to carry thousands of troops and equipped with weapons that could sterilize entire continents. "Resistance is futile and will result in the complete destruction of your civilization," Vex continued. "Compliance will result in your peaceful integration into our empire, with opportunities for advancement and prosperity beyond your current understanding. Choose wisely." The transmission ended, leaving Earth's population to contemplate their apparent hopelessness while Commander Vex waited for the inevitable surrender message that had always come within hours of such ultimatums. Instead, 12 hours later, he received a response that no alien commander had ever heard before. Asterisk. President Walsh appeared on his communication screen, her expression calm and determined. Behind her stood representatives from every major nation on Earth. Their unity, a sight that should have been impossible according to every intelligence assessment the aliens had made. "Commander Thex," Walsh began, her voice carrying quiet strength, "we have considered your offer carefully. Our response is simple: no." The shock of defiance. Commander Thex stared at his communication screen in absolute bewilderment. In 40 years of military service and 23 successful conquests, he had never heard a species refuse the generous terms of peaceful surrender. "I believe there has been a misunderstanding," Thex replied, his confidence beginning to crack. "Perhaps your primitive translation systems have failed to convey the magnitude of our offer. We are providing you with the opportunity to join Galactic civilization peacefully." "We understand your offer perfectly," Walsh responded. "We also understand that you have classified our species as suitable for slavery or elimination, depending on your immediate needs. We choose neither option." Thex's mandibles clicked together in growing frustration. "You cannot choose neither option. Those are the only options available to primitive species that encounter galactic civilization. You will surrender, or you will be destroyed." "Then you had better start destroying," Walsh replied calmly, "because humanity does not surrender." The communication ended, leaving Commander Thex staring at a blank screen while trying to process the impossible situation he now faced. No species had ever chosen destruction over surrender. It was illogical, irrational, and completely unprecedented in galactic history. "Communications," he barked to his officer. "Send a fleet-wide message. These humans appear to have chosen destruction over integration. Prepare to demonstrate our superiority. Target their major population centers with minimal energy weapons. Once they see the futility of resistance, they will reconsider their position." But as his fleet moved into attack positions, something unprecedented happened. The humans struck first. The impossible defense, what had appeared to be a simple asteroid mining platform near Jupiter, suddenly revealed massive doors sliding open to expose weapon systems that should not have existed. The innocent research station, orbiting Saturn, extended arrays that looked nothing like any technology in the galactic database. Even the lunar installations that aliens had dismissed as primitive mining operations opened launch bays that had been hidden beneath false surface formations. Commander Thex watched his tactical displays in growing disbelief as energy signatures appeared throughout the solar system, power readings that indicated military installations far more advanced than anything his intelligence had suggested was possible. "Sir," his sensor officer reported, voice tight with confusion, "I'm detecting massive energy buildups from 17 different locations. These power signatures are comparable to our own military installations." "That's impossible," Thex replied. But his certainty was rapidly eroding. "Run complete diagnostics on all sensor systems." "Diagnostics complete, sir. All systems functioning normally. The readings are real." The first wave of human attacks struck the alien fleet like lightning from a clear sky. But these were not the primitive chemical explosives the aliens expected. Instead, humanity revealed weapons that exploited weaknesses in galactic technology that no one had bothered to address. Captain Marcus Rodriguez coordinated the defense from his command center, hidden within what appeared to be a routine communication relay station. His screens showed the systematic engagement of alien vessels that had expected to face no resistance whatsoever. "Target priority Alpha vessels first," he ordered calmly. "Disable their command structure, then work through support vessels systematically. Remember, we want survivors who can report back about what happened here." The human weapons were unlike anything in the galactic arsenal. While alien civilizations had spent millennia perfecting energy-based warfare, humanity had taken a completely different approach. Their weapons combined principles that the aliens had abandoned as primitive with delivery systems that represented the cutting edge of human engineering. Dr. Elena Vasquez monitored the battle from Earth's primary command center, her team tracking every alien vessel and every human weapon system with precision that the aliens had never suspected humanity possessed. "They're attempting to regroup," she reported, as alien formations tried to concentrate their forces. Activating mobility denial systems in Sectors 7, 12, and 15. The aliens received their second major shock when they discovered they couldn't retreat. The same technology that had allowed humanity to monitor galactic communications for 12 years had also provided the knowledge needed to manipulate local space-time, creating distortions that prevented faster-than-light travel within the solar system. The psychology of defeat. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Kim led her fighter squadron in an attack on alien cruisers attempting to form defensive positions near Mars. Her targeting systems locked onto enemy vessels with ease, their hulls showing no signs of the adaptive armor or defensive systems that marked truly advanced military thinking. "They're completely unprepared for actual combat," she reported to her squadron. "No evasive maneuvers, no adaptive defenses, no countermeasures. They've built their entire military around the assumption that enemies always surrender immediately." Her wingman, Captain David Chun, targeted an alien destroyer's engine section with weapons designed to disable rather than destroy. "It's like they've never faced an enemy that actually fought back. They have no idea how to respond to genuine resistance." The alien vessels began exploding under impacts from weapons that bypassed their defenses completely. Their shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, proved useless against humanity's unconventional approach to warfare. Their armor, optimized for protection against plasma and particle beams, crumpled under attacks that used principles the aliens had forgotten. Commander Vex watched his magnificent fleet disintegrate around him with the growing realization that everything the Galactic Trade Assembly believed about warfare had just been proven catastrophically wrong. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his tactical officer. "They're primitives. They don't have this technology." "Sir," his officer replied, barely maintaining composure as the flagship shuddered under another impact, "our intelligence appears to have been completely incorrect. These humans have been concealing their true capabilities." Vex stared at his tactical display as red markers representing destroyed vessels continued to multiply. In less than 6 hours, he had lost over 300 ships to an enemy that intelligence had classified as helpless primitives. "Emergency transmission to High Counselor Vex," he ordered desperately. "Priority Alpha classification. Inform the Council that human capabilities were catastrophically underestimated. Request immediate reinforcement of remaining fleet elements." His communications officer looked up with an expression of despair. "Sir, our long-range communications array was destroyed in the first attack wave. We cannot contact Council space while the humans maintain their space-time distortions." The message the battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, fewer than 50 alien vessels remained operational, and those only because humanity had chosen to preserve them. The survivors found themselves surrounded by human ships that had emerged from concealment throughout the solar system, vessels whose design and capabilities represented everything the galactic community thought impossible. Director Sarah Chun spoke directly to the surviving alien commanders, her image broadcast to every remaining ship in the shattered fleet. "Commander Vex," she began, her voice carrying the quiet authority of absolute victory. "You came to our system, believing you understood humanity's capabilities. You were wrong. You classified us as primitive because we chose not to reveal our true strength. You assumed we were divided because you saw our political diversity as weakness rather than resilience." The display behind her showed human installations throughout the solar system, their true purpose now revealed. What had appeared to be civilian infrastructure was actually the most sophisticated defense network ever constructed by a single planet. Species. We are returning your surviving vessels to you intact, Chun continued, along with complete sensor records of this engagement. Take this message to your Galactic Trade Assembly. Humanity rejects your classification of our species. We will not be integrated, enslaved, or eliminated. We choose our own path among the stars. The space-time distortions faded, allowing the alien survivors to restore their faster-than-light capabilities. As they prepared to depart, each ship received detailed sensor data showing exactly how they had been defeated, information that would revolutionize galactic understanding of warfare and force every civilization to reconsider their assumptions. About technological development. Commander Vex sat in his damaged command chair, studying the tactical analysis of humanity's victory with the stunned comprehension of someone whose worldview had been completely shattered. The humans had not simply defeated his fleet. They had demonstrated that everything galactic civilization believed about warfare, technology, and species development was fundamentally flawed. Asterisk. Set course for Council space, he ordered quietly. Maximum possible speed. As the surviving alien vessels limped away from Earth's solar system, they carried the most important message in galactic history. There was a new power in space, and it played by completely different rules than anyone had imagined possible. The new reality, back in the Grand Chamber of Universal Trade, High Counselor Vex received the survivors' report with growing horror. The holographic displays showed the systematic destruction of the most powerful battle fleet the Assembly had ever deployed, defeated by a species that supposedly lacked the technology for interplanetary warfare. "This is impossible," she whispered, her serpentine form coiling with distress. "Species do not develop this way. Primitive worlds do not possess such capabilities." Commander Vex, his metallic skin now scarred by battle damage, addressed the stunned council with the weary voice of someone who had witnessed the impossible. "Honored council members," he began, "humanity has demonstrated that our fundamental assumptions about technological development are wrong. They did not follow standard advancement patterns. Instead of focusing on obvious displays of power, they concentrated on deception and strategic positioning. Instead of developing the technologies we expected, they perfected techniques we had abandoned as primitive." The implications rippled through the chamber as representatives from 47 species realized that their entire understanding of galactic civilization needed to be reconsidered. If humans could conceal such capabilities, what other species might be hiding their true strength? "What do they want?" asked Counselor Brint, his massive form trembling with uncertainty. "They want to be left alone," Vex replied. "They have chosen to develop independently, outside our economic system. They do not seek conquest or expansion. They simply refuse to be conquered." High Counselor Vex studied the tactical data with growing unease. Humanity had revealed capabilities that would force every military commander in the galaxy to reconsider their strategies. More importantly, they had demonstrated that species could choose paths of development that made them immune to traditional conquest methods. "Issue a general advisory to all Assembly members," she ordered finally. "The Sol system is to be considered a restricted zone. No vessels are to approach within 10 light years without explicit authorization from this council." As the emergency session ended and representatives began filing out to inform their governments of this unprecedented development, one fact became clear to everyone present: the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had announced its presence, not as a supplicant seeking membership in galactic civilization, but as an equal power demanding respect. They had chosen their own path among the stars, and they had the strength to defend that choice against anyone who challenged it. The age of easy conquest was over. The age of humanity had begun. Asterisk.